friends, welcome back to She's At It Again. My name is Tanya and I made vanilla wafers yesterday. These are honey sweetened vanilla wafers and the video has already come out by the time this one comes out because this is the next day. So when you make vanilla wafers, there's only one thing to do when you live in the South, and that's make banana pudding. So let's go over to the stove and we're going to make some banana pudding. We're going to put our vanilla wafers smack dab in the middle of them. It's going to be so good and I can't wait to dig in. I like it when it's hot, but I'll take it when it's cold too. So we're going to share ours with the neighbors and I think it's going to be good. This is going to be sweetened only with honey too, so everybody celebrate. Okay, in our saucepan, we are going to put in there a couple of tablespoons of all-purpose flour. I'm not sure why I didn't get that out, but I probably got sidetracked. Okay, 2 tablespoons, which is 1/8 of a cup of just all-purpose flour. And also 1/3 cup of cornstarch. This is non-GMO cornstarch. Get organic if you can. I ran out for some reason, but I did have non-GMO in the pantry. To that, we also want to add 1/4 teaspoon of salt. This is just pink salt. And we're going to add a little bit of milk to this. I'm going to put it on the other side over here. We're just kind of make a little paste at first. I'm going to go ahead and turn the burner on underneath that. And the reason I'm doing it this way, there's kind of a rhyme and a reason to it. The reason I'm doing it this way is because you never want to add cornstarch and flour to a liquid. You can add the liquid to the cornstarch, but you can't do it the opposite or else it's just really, really lumpy. So I added the liquid to the dry ingredients, so it'll kind of make a little bit of a paste. Now I have more milk to add to this, but for right now, I just wanted to add enough to where I can get it. You can see, it kind of looks like a paste, a runny paste. To that, I'm going to add my honey, and I have a 1/2 cup of honey in this, and I put coconut oil in it so it would release better. And make sure it's a honey that tastes good. Don't get one of those funky ones that you think, oh, this tastes like a dandelion or something like that. Get one that has a pleasant taste to it because it's really going to shine through in this. And to this, you can either add whole eggs, you can add about 3 whole eggs, or I had egg yolks left over from making something the other day. I think I made an angel food cake for someone. Somebody ordered a gluten-free angel food cake. And I had all these egg yolks left and I needed to do something with them. Yet another excuse to make some pudding. So I have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I have about 7 egg yolks in this, and I'm just going to dump them all in there. And you want to whisk it where it breaks up those egg yolks. Now you want to work a little fast just because you have your burner on, or I have my burner on anyway, and I don't want those egg yolks to cook, like scramble, and they would if it were super hot liquid that you put them in, but for right now it's fine. I'm going to get the rest of these eggs out there, and we're going to pour all the rest of our milk in there. I don't have my burner on super high. This isn't one of those get it hot as fast as you can. It's just get it warm gently. But I'm going to go ahead and pour the rest of my milk in here because I don't think we'll have an issue with the cornstarch getting all gloppy and lumpy. It was completely dissolved. My burner has up to 6 numbers on it, and then it says high. So I'm going to put it on about 3.5. So if that tells you anything, I'd say about medium to medium-low heat. It'll take a while for this to come to a slow boil because milk is obviously cold and because there's 3 full cups of it in there. That's quite a bit. But we want to keep an eye on it and stir it pretty often just because, number one, we don't want it to stick to the bottom. And number two, once it starts getting to that point where it's just a slow boil, we want to be sure and stir it so the heat will be distributed evenly. We won't have any lumps in our mixture. But for right now, I need to look for a pan that we're going to put our banana pudding in once it's done. I think this might make the perfect pan. It's just like a ceramic dish. And these are my vanilla wafers that I made yesterday. So we're going to be lining the bottom of our pan with it in just a minute. So I'll set those aside. And of course we have bananas. My husband spared us. He normally eats a lot of bananas, so I think he must have known I was going to make something because he didn't bother these. Banana pudding's one of those things that some people don't realize. It's just basically a vanilla pie filling, chocolate pie filling minus the chocolate, or coconut pie filling minus the coconut, of course. But if you wanted to do a banana cream pie, this is the filling. This is what you use. But because we have vanilla wafers, I'm not making a crust. This is going to make a good banana pudding. Now, if you use whole eggs instead of just using the egg yolks, what you're going to do is separate your egg whites from the egg yolks, and you can actually use those for meringue, or you can add the whole egg to it. If you want meringue on top of this, if you're going to bake it and you want that meringue on the top, when I was a kid, I called it cow slobbers because it looked like the texture of cow slobbers. But as an adult, I like the taste of it. It's not something I necessarily have to have, but it keeps the top of it a little fresher than if you don't have a coating on it. But we're going to eat this so fast, we don't need a coating on it. Meringue makes a lovely presentation if you put it in the oven and kind of toast the peaks of the meringue. It's very pretty, but a lot of people just rake it off. It's strictly for, they think it's strictly for preserving the texture of it on the top. Some people use a plastic film and put it over the pie. I'm not big on putting plastic on hot things, so I avoid doing that. But like I said, we're going to eat ours quick enough. We don't need anything covering the top of it to preserve the integrity of it. It's going to be just fine. I can feel it getting thicker on the bottom as I rake the bottom of the pan with the whisk. You can see where it's kind of sticking to it. So I know that the thickening activity is taking place. My grandmother was famous for her banana pudding, and she never went by a recipe. She just kind of dumped stuff in there. And as a kid, I remember sitting there in the kitchen watching her going, how in the world does this even come out tasting like anything? She's not even measuring anything, but that's what happens when you get old. I still measure my banana pudding. There's a lot of things I don't measure, but for this I do. I just don't make it as often. But I've never made it, well, I shouldn't say I've never. I've tried before, but I put too much honey in it and it was oversweet. But with this, all I did was just replace the sugar with the honey, but you have to reduce it by 25% or it's way, way, way too sweet. It's just very, very unappealing. But instead of banana, I made pineapple, so it wasn't exactly the same thing. But my grandmother used the white sugar and, you know, all the stuffs to go in it, and it was so fabulous. So this brings back good memories of being at my Nana and Granddad's house, because everything she made turned out just perfect. We never could figure that out, but I think her passion came through in cooking things for people that she knew they would really enjoy. If you have a favorite memory that is related to banana pudding, let me know in the comments. Is it something that your grandmother made for you? Is it something your mom made? Was it a special dessert for a holiday? Or did you try to make it in college and have like a big goof up and everybody heard about it? Because I have goof ups that I took part in and people heard about it. It was kind of funny. We still laugh about it. Okay, you can see how thick this is getting. You know your mixture is thick when you stir it, and instead of the mixture keeping going in a circle, it stops. So I can stir it, and as soon as I pull my whisk out, it stops. It's done. So we're going to take this off the heat, scoot it over a little bit. I'll turn this around so you can see what I'm doing. That will keep on getting thicker, but for right now, we don't need to add to that. I'm going to add a tablespoon of unsalted butter. And we're going to put 2 teaspoons of homemade vanilla in there. And this is my homemade vanilla. I'll let you get a closer look at that. I can see those vanilla bean specks in there. That just makes it taste better to me. My butter's almost melted. See that one little speck of butter there? Okay, we're going to let this cool down a bit. In the meantime, we're going to get our vanilla wafers arranged in our pan, so let's go over there to the island. All right, vanilla wafers and bananas. Look how cute these are. Isn't that cute? There's the bottom. All right, we're just going to scatter these in here, cover the bottom, and it doesn't matter if they're right side up or upside down. We'll put some along the edge. And to answer your question, if you're thinking about it, yes, these are going to get mushy once the pudding goes in and sits on them, but that's okay. It's just perfect like that. Okay, we'll reserve some to put on the top. Now, if you want to make whipped cream ahead of time, and once this completely cools off, you refrigerate it, and it's completely cooled off, you can add your sweetened whipped cream to the top. Be sure and sweeten it with just honey if you want this whole thing to be no processed sugar. But we're not going to add honey to ours, or we're not going to add whipped cream to the top of ours. You don't really know how many bananas you need until you get them all in there. And it really depends on how much you want bananas in there. Some people just willy-nilly kind of throw them in there. Some people add them to the pudding and pour it in here. I like to put mine on the bottom because I don't want any of these to be exposed to the air above the pudding, because air means it's going to turn brown, and I don't want it turning brown. Of bananas is going to be enough for us, and if somebody wants more bananas in theirs, we can always cut another banana up and put in there. Okay, let me clean my hands. Okay, our butter has obviously melted, and this is so nice and yellow. This almost looks like a store-bought pudding mix because it's so yellow, but it's just because of those egg yolks. I put 7 egg yolks in there, so it has reason to be yellow. On the top. And there we go. There's our banana pudding. We're going to let this cool off just a bit, and after we've had dinner and after our neighbors have had dinner, then we'll call them over or we'll take some over to them. They just had a baby recently, so she just needs some comfort food. It's for the baby, you know. It's for the baby. She's eating for 2. So anyway, hey, thanks for joining us. And the recipe is in the description as always. And we look forward to sharing something again with you real soon. Enjoy the honey sweetened banana pudding. Thanks, guys.